Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing My Slow Life Hobbies in My 30s, we're going to be building a birdhouse. So, I've got a little bit of lumber here, we've got some materials, we got a bunch of different stuff. We're going to have a good little bit of morning woodworking fun. Also, I've got acrylic here, and this is actually going to be this is actually the first time I've ever worked with acrylic, but I should be able to cut this on the table saw. That's my game plan for this. But yeah, I hope everyone is staying safe out there with all this heat. It has certainly been most unreasonable, in at least my opinion. I'm tired of the heat. I am more than ready for autumn to get here. So, first part we gotta do is we gotta work on our piece of lumber here. We gotta get it cut down. And this is gonna be exciting. Okay. So, Mike's back, but I've lost camera. Okay. Normally this camera lets me play with it more, which is why I'm a fan. Which is why generally I was a fan of it. So we're just gonna have to remove, and then we'll have to re-add it in. It's usually the go plan. Sure. Stay. And then we'll drop things back. Then I had you in a certain way. That way. Because I like this a little bit better. So I've got like a little bit of a gap here between what is my table saw workstation and my workbench. And this is where I can actually run my circular saw and actually do a little bit of cutting on this. So, first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to run the saw across just to clean up this edge. That's all I'm trying to do for the first cut. So, we've got a cleaned up edge. And from that, we can actually start working on grabbing pieces. So my first piece I want is going to be 10 inches across. So go ahead and get my 10-inch mark. Bring speed square in to and actually, once I start getting pieces cut out of this, it's gonna not make the board as tilted. Okay. There we go. So that's going to be one piece. I'm also going to have to rip all these pieces because our handy dandy build plans call for 5.5 across, which is generally if you bought cedar at well, if you just bought like 1x6s at a home center. Well, I actually got this from an actual like lumber mill, and we're actually over 6 inches, so I have to actually, all these pieces are eventually going to have to get trimmed down size later. And I think for my next one, I also want 10 inches. So let's go ahead, get ourselves another 10-inch mark here. So one 10-inch mark, speed square. There we go. Now this 10-inch piece, this piece, we're actually going to rip a whole bunch of pieces off it. We're going to rip a bunch of 1.5-inch pieces. This is a game plan for this one. Okay. So, that's another piece cut out. Let's see, we need... Wait, I need 2? I do need 2 for that, right? Go through my list. Yep, I need 2 at 8 inches. Okay, so we need 2 8-inchers. Mark it at 8. Sip tea liberally. Tea's great. Tea is amazing. You also gotta drink warm tea in the morning before it gets hot. Okay. And then this goes overkill. I love being overkill. Okay. Let's get ourselves a piece. Okay, so I got a rough edge there, but that's fine. I can clean that up later. Okay. Oh, my free board is actually now reasonably stable. It's gotten short enough. So we want one more 8-inch. There we go. Okay. And there we go. Then, let's see. So my next next piece on the list is plexiglass, but we're gonna play with plexiglass later. And then I need 1 inch for 5.5 and 1 inch for the roof portions. So these two are gonna be like the bottom frame. Those two are gonna be the sides, and then I'm gonna get 2 more pieces, and those are gonna be what's essentially the roof. And that's gonna be a 12, well, it's gonna be 1 foot plus 1 inch, which is 13 inches. So. There we go. And there we go. Let's see here. Okay. sit on that. I don't want that to sit on that. Because I want my panels to be reasonably free floating. Granted, this project actually is going to use up the better part of the board. Granted, I will have offcuts from a lot of this, though. Like, one of these roof sections is actually going to have a decent enough offcut, because it's only going to be 4 3/4. There we go. Okay. And there we go. Woo! And that should be mostly it for our pieces. So let's see. We've got almost 3 feet of board left over. So this would be good for some other projects around the homestead, eventually, at some point. I'm gonna set that there. Woo! Man, it's been like warm over the past few days. Granted, I also pretty sure I got a reasonably bad case of heat exhaustion on Thursday. Okay, tea's finished off. Not worried about that. And circular saw, you go over there. We don't need you anymore. Because for now, we're going over to the table saw. And this is going to be fun, because earlier when I moved the camera, it didn't like it. Granted, my setup recently has gotten more fragile, I've noticed. Wait a second. There you are. Okay. We'll set that at 5.5. Get my ripper. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna try to move camera, and I'm gonna hope camera does. We don't end up with too bad of a situation. Ah, not too bad. Not too bad. Good. Okay. So let's go ahead and get our blade height set. We'll bring up the blade. And generally, I just tried to get it like a little bit above. There's been so much advice regarding proper blade height setting that I genuinely think it's really easy to get lost in the sauce regarding it. So I just tried to go for whatever I generally find is safest. So, and also speaking of safety, grip ripper, push stick, all those fun things. Also, when I start doing this table saw stuff, I'm also going to be turning on, because I actually got it hooked up to my dust collection. You can actually see it right over there. There's my dust collection. So I've got dust collection over there. There's going to be lots of noise from both the saw and the dust collection. So things are about to get really, 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 there's going to be a lot of noise, but actually, so I need to set that off to the side, because I don't know if I want to rip that one. That will be the base. Yeah, this one. Okay, so this piece I have here, this is going to get ripped into a bunch of, this is actually, I'm hoping to split this into 4 pieces. So that's going to go there. But for now, all the rest of the pieces I just cut, I'm going to just rip them down to like length, just so that way they're all the same length, because right now all these boards are about 6 inches across, a little bit more than that, and I want to just get them down to the 5 inches. So I am going to make an atrocious amount of noise right now. So starting off with dust collection. Okay. That's enough of the noise. So we got ourselves quite a few pieces here. And I still got to do some serious work on some of these, but that's fine. So that's those. You're going to be one part of my roof. No, you're actually base. That's what you are. This is the base of the thing. Which... So that's going to be base. We're going to do some serious slicing and dicing with this guy here in a little bit. Get scraps pulled off to the side. It's going to be part of our roof assembly there. Here's a... Are you the other part of the roof assembly? Actually... Wait, did I run both pieces of the roof assembly through? Okay. Oh, that's kind of a mistake on my part. Okay. So... I ran both pieces of my roof assembly through, so I now have 2 5.5 inch, but one of these needs to be 4 3/4. So this piece needs to get run through again. So while my saw's off, I wonder if I can use these for anything. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. It would be nice if I could use them for something. I would certainly appreciate that. It would be nice. So, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the table saw to make a 4 3/4 inch cut on here, and we're going to get one of our roofing pieces cut to length. So go ahead and check that measurement. I'm reasonably happy with that. Okay. And since I'm just going to make one quick cut, I'm only going to use the table saw. I'm not going to turn on the dust collection. But yeah, that's actually why I had a really dirty cut there. I had all that bark and such. And that one piece right there. And these pieces, I'm not sure what I'm going to use them for, but some of these offs. But I'm going to use them for something. I'm going to use them for something one of these days. Okay. So I've got, should have a good 6 inches of wood here. And I certainly do. I actually have 6 1/4. No, I don't quite. I have 6 1/8. I have 6. So my current thought is I need to get 4 pieces out of this. I need 4 pieces that are 1.5 inches across. So if I'm at 6, what I want is the head, because when I make these cuts, I want my actual piece to be on this side with the larger board on this side. So what I want is to go down to roughly about 4.5 inches. And then that should be okay. Cool. So we got that set up. So I'm gonna make noise. Okay, so here's one of our pieces. I'll just do a quick check. We came up a lit. We're like 1/16 of an inch short, but that's fine. This is a bird feeder. This is a DIY bird feeder. So take that and turn this down to 3. And that should get me pretty close to. Okay. So let's do a hair bit more that way, and okay, I think we're looking good. So once more. Ooh, nice ray flecking though. That's one thing nice about the cedar lumber is it has real nice ray flecking to it. Okay. Being consistent, I'll take it. How much wood do I have left here? I have like nearly 3 inches perfectly here. So this now has to get cut in half. So take this. Now we're doing really thin slices. Well, thin by my standards. This is when table saws get very exciting. But this is a pretty thin, reasonably workable piece, so not too worried about it. Okay. Time to make some noise. Woo. So one of my pieces has become longer than my other. But let's see. Yeah, I was definitely losing. Definitely. So, my pieces did turn out a little bit shorter than what I intended, which, well, shorter than what would have been ideal, because I basically cut that board. So I took our board. There's should be like original edges, because that's an original edge. And we did 3 cuts. And each time we did a cut on this, we lost a little bit of wood to the blade curve. And because of that, these all ended up a little bit shorter than 1.5 inches, but I'm not worried about that. So I'm reasonably through with those. So now time to go through the build. Man, time to go through the build plans and make sure I'm reasonably hunky-dory. Because I've got 4 of these that are going to get attached to that. I've got dowel. It's funny, the dowels. Things like the dowels are through dowels. Honestly, I think it might look better if I do the through dowels. Okay. Whew. Okay. Time for the fun. Okay, now we get to do the fun part now. Now the fun part is we got to turn these 4-sided boards into something that is a 4-sided board, but also a little bit different than a 4-sided board. So this is actually, for me, I personally consider this is going to be like the hard part. Because this involves angled cuts. Now, generally angled cuts aren't too bad to do, especially if I were to do them at the miter saw station, but to do them at the, I mean, I could. The problem is my miter saw station's kind of encapsulated by these tools, which I was expecting these to be more useful. So I now have to do a lot of judicious marking, because what I want is a point that is 2 3/4 here, and then I want a point that is 2 3/4 here. Yeah, because that's right next to my 3. Did I mark that right? Oh, I did coincidentally mark that right. And then I want to connect those 2 dots, which I can do with that. Which coincidentally that'll work. And then presuming that's square, and then I'm gonna check that this angle line I just made by measuring it and making sure it came out to 3/4. 2 3/4. So basically I gotta make a triangle here. So for that, and to make these cuts, I could use the miter gauge, but honestly I do need to have a better miter gauge for my table saw. So I'm not gonna be table sawing these. I think we're gonna go the hand saw wrap, because we're also, well, we're making good progress. We're actually doing really good on progress. Also, I don't want today's stream to be too short, so get the good old hand saw out. Ooh. Ooh, that blade's loose. One moment. I need some screwdrivers. I gotta tighten that blade up, or else I'm gonna have a bad time. I really hate to have a bad time. Today's been a good day. Woo! Hand tools, yes! This is not entirely a hand tool stream. But yes. Which actually, no. Yeah, I don't have. Camera, play nice, play nice. There we go. But yeah. Hand tools, the safer tools. Well, tools without a motor attached to them. But yeah, how are you, Dad's old chop? Hope you're doing good, having a good weekend. My angle might be off a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm kind of getting off my angle. Let's see. Can I reestablish that? Can we reestablish that? Good, good. Getting things together for my end of summer party. Oh man, I can't wait for summer to end. But yeah, I hope your party turns out good. Hey, you're moving a lot. Well, that regrettably means I have to grab another clamp. Granted, I think I can. Wait, could I do that? This is what I need. Is literally just the clamp that acts as a backstop. Making the axe throwing target this week, also the high jump board. Ooh, fun. Fun, fun. Yeah. Now that wood's not going anywhere. Yeah, I've always wanted to do axe throwing. Because I've had friends who've done axe throwing, but granted, we do have like axe throwing places where I live. It's just I never went. Granted, hopefully I will do it someday. I just haven't done it yet. It's fun. I use Harbor Freight axes and make an A-frame like 5 years ago that I hang targets from. Ooh! That sounds like a great use of Harbor Freight tools, though. that's the roughest edge ever. And now the edge is a little bit cleaned up. I think it ended up a bit deeper than what I imagined. But no, that's actually reasonable. Cool. Now the question is, how do I essentially cut that? Granted, I kind of like the idea of how I initially have this set up. And that is, where it's essentially nearly a straight line cut from my perspective. I do like that. But I am going to move this clamp. I think it'll be better as a holding clamp. Granted, I gotta say, I initially had my doubts when I first made my table saw workstation, because what the plans actually called for was for me to essentially make this big U part around the table saw out of one piece of plywood. But that would have used up a lot of plywood, and I would have basically had one big cutout. And I was like, man, I don't want to. I feel like I would be wasting plywood if I just did a big thing like that. So I was just like, let's just use like offcuts and have gaps. And these gaps have been amazing for throwing clamps on stuff. Been truly amazing for throwing clamps on pieces of wood. Ooh. Ah. Easy there. Getting aggressive. Too aggressive. Gotta chill, buddy. Actually, wait a second. I made a realization, but I also am like, and the first one cut a lot better than, well, the second one was better cut than that one. Yay! Do. Cool. So, it is certainly not particularly even. I don't know. Let's see. I'm curious. It's off a little bit, but I'm not worried about that. Okay, so those are the two kind of easy cuts. Now I have to make cuts from these 2 points on down, an 1 3/8 out from each side. So from here, let's see, 1.5 is the, oh, fun. I get to aim for that. I literally have to aim for that right there. Just a hair bit on like this side of that. Okay, that's exciting. And then over here, goodbye, clamp. Nice knowing you. That clamp decided to yeet itself into the void under the table saw. Need to back off a little bit. That's a little bit more reasonable. Can I see the clamp from where I'm at? Yeah. I like my clamps. Make my job a lot easier here. So, essentially what I want to do is this. Basically that. Ooh. And then that line's just going straight through a knot. Oh, delightful. So, there's a lot of ways I can, because I don't want to start my cut on that corner. Just trying to start a cut on that corner is going to be real difficult. It's going to be easier to start it here on this side of the world. So, we're going to go ahead and basically attempt to... Ooh, do I not have enough clamp? Or just barely enough clamp? Barely enough clamp. Just barely enough clamp. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. And zip that down. Secure that. There we go. And this is probably the cut I'm going to have to be... Ooh. I'm really close to my post here. That needs to get adjusted. I need to get this a little bit further out. Away from... Thing is I want it further out, but I also want to keep it clamped down. That is the trials and tribulations of what I'm doing. But so far, starting off nice and lightly. Looks like we're doing what we need to do to end up where we want to go. And there is, once again, another instance of me veering off severely. I really don't want to... And that reasonably fixed it. Yay! Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Man. But yeah, we were going pretty far off there a little bit, but hey, managed to bring it back on the track and get it reasonably close to where I wanted it. Slight edges here and there to clean up, but that's fine. But yeah, that's reasonable. And the good news is, once I actually get this piece fully cut out, I can use this as a trace piece for my other piece. And the reality of the situation is I did not make my life any easier for me. And I say that because what I have going on here is the hard side to start is facing towards me. Once again, another wonderful instance of good job, Sugi. Okay. Can I get that tight? Yeah. Okay. I want a sip of water. Woo! Ah! There we go. Okay. Let's see here. And this is going to be fun. And once again, I can get it. I'm okay-ish at getting it started, but getting it started in such a way where I don't immediately regret what my line is the hard part. Well, that's working. Oh, that turned. Hey, you. I'll up the clamping force, but I should also probably take it a little bit easier. Yep, I don't got my clamps in good spots. I'm basically only clamping one area. If I could It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be real tight as far as like my distance, but let's see what we can do. This all clears the clamp. I like this so far. Woo! Ah! One last piece. Woo! It's gonna start from the far end and lower to the rear of the blade to make a big score mark to follow. You got this. I didn't think starting from the far side would be reasonably easy, but I mean, there I knocked the piece out of my hands. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, I'll take it. And with this cutout is my template for my second piece. So that'll make marking things out a lot easier. Granted, this has been a lot of work, and I'm thirsty. And this is a DIY project on the Sunday morning. So this calls for a cold one, but since I'm still playing with tools, I'm not going to be doing the alcoholic cold one. I'm going to be doing something special. Well, different sort of special. Be doing a Paw flavored L8. This is actually a limited edition L8 that kind of just came out, and I saw it at my supermarket like yesterday. And ooh, it actually does smell like paw. Now the big question is, does this taste like paw? Yeah, bird won't complain. Wow. Okay. Yeah, the Paw L8 is great. Man, it's just, I don't know if it's exactly Paw flavored. It's really close. Because for those who don't know, the mighty Paw, the Latin name Altisma triloba, the fruit, like the fleshy interior, that tastes like it tastes like a banana. But the skin of the Paw fruit tastes like an apple skin. It's a really interesting, good tasting fruit, native to Eastern North America, which I'm a big fan of it. Brandon, I think it's funny how they actually labeled it Kentucky banana. But yeah, that is good. That is truly good. And that's the kind of pick-me-up I need to keep working. Because basically this part here I think is going to be the hardest part. Is getting these cut out, but hey, you know what? It'll be consistent. And also, actually, I've got a bit of a stabby stabber right there. I'm gonna knock that down right quick. There we go. And then, because I am an individual who likes options, I can mark both sides. Because I now have a template. So, I think what we'll do is we'll set that there, throw some clamps, and do some sawing. Still. Gotta love the old school Pittsburgh clamps. They're stiffer. Which is funny, both these clamps are actually, so these are actually both Pittsburgh branded clamps. But this one, the one with the plastic handle, is a Harbor Freight acquisition. And then the one with the wooden handle, this is a estate sale acquisition. And I'm pretty sure this is like old school, and this is like the newer version. Newer version is just as good. I mean, especially for like how cheap. Like, I think it's like $3 for like one of these small clamps. Cannot complain with those prices. Granted, since I also bought this clamp at an estate sale, I got a really good clamp for pretty much the same price as that guy. Which is real nice when you go to estate sales when it's like someone who has tools and such. You can get really good deals there. That's always really fun. If you had holes at the top, you could put bench dogs in them to help combat springing when you're cutting. Yeah. Holy smokes, I'm actually being consistent. Okay. So I veered a little bit off my line, but not aggressively though. Let's see. How bad is it? We'll do some repair. I should just start from the far side. Got it! Woohoo! Not every day I catch the off pieces. And I reasonably fix my whoopsie. Man, that Paw Paw flavored LA is amazing. Okay. Okay, so I've got this hump of wood here. The pull stars are starting and then drag back for that score. Then I start from the close side to connect that line. Ah. The fun thing with me is I'm just a complete amateur just having fun. But the tips are appreciated. I don't know, would it be reasonable or am I'm gonna lose that when I make my next cut. I'm gonna lose that when I make my next cut. So let's see, we're here. If I can do something like that, keeps my clamps out of the way. So let's see here. So we'll try starting at the far side. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, let's see how close I am. Well, what do you know? I can't see my line anymore because it is now curved. You're the pro. You've never made. You're a pro birdhouse maker. I've never made one. Hey, just consider it an eventual thing. Like, you're gonna eventually make one. Granted, actually, I don't know. Like, how pro bird are you? Are you like, do you tolerate the birds? Do you disdain the birds? Ah! It's close catching that. Me, I'm like, depends on how I'm feeling. I'm generally anti-bird. How dare they fly above me? That's a very dwarf thought right there. But they plan to live a long time, so maybe that will change. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I'm mixed on my bird opinions. I'm generally, I'd say good day I'm a fan, but on other days I'm just like, whatever. Depends. Depends how many invasive species I have to pull out of my yard, or if I find poison ivy in places in my yard that I'm like, oh hey look, poison ivy. Because the thing is, if I find poison ivy in my yard, that's been planted there by a bird. That's how you get poison ivy in your yards. Birds plant it. Because birds will essentially eat the berries of the poison ivy plant, and then they drop. Sounds like a short interview series. What's your opinions on birds? Yeah. How do birds make you feel? Or maybe even like a weird therapy question. Not that I would know anything about therapy. I've never been to therapy. I've been broken, but I haven't been. Birds doing you dirty. They just give me pokeweed. Oh, they give me pokeweed too. Joke's on them. Well, I have eaten pokeweed, but I only did it one time. And I did it one time just to be like, okay, I actually processed pokeweed, ate it, and did the thing. But yeah, so they generally give me poison ivy. I get a lot of bush honeysuckle from them. What's else? I occasionally get the vine honeysuckle, but that's rarer. I mostly get bush honeysuckle. Oh yeah, they also plant Virginia creeper everywhere. Something I actually have to, so Virginia creeper is a native plant. It's a vining plant. It's similar to poison ivy, but it has 5 leaflets versus poison ivy's 3. So it's an actual native, but it's native and it grows well. And I have to rip it off my house. Like once a month, I'll like do a lap around my house, and I'll just be pulling off Virginia creeper off the side of the house. That's cool. Pokeweed has history. Not worth it if you have options though. Yeah, pokeweed. Yeah, pokeweed's a It's definitely a famine class crop. It's something you can eat, but if you got access to a supermarket, you're better off. Which, funny enough, though, some supermarkets, pokeweed canned used to be a supermarket. Used to be a product you can actually get in supermarkets. Like, that's kind of like one of the weird, interesting things with it is like, it's funny because it's like this really barely, it's a kind of edible plant. Granted, it is really high in protein. Like, I think in a 100 gram, in a 100 gram serving of pokeweed has like 30 grams of protein. So it's a famine class crop. It doesn't taste great, but it's got a really healthy amount of protein to it. Like my grandpa from the south, yeah. I did see the canned pokeweed, and that stuff's wild. It's not cheap or inferior taste-wise. Well, so oh dang, marketed to the gym bros. I don't know. I actually don't know how. Okay. You know what? I'm curious. I'm actually wondering what is the nutritional content of spinach, like protein-wise. Oh gosh. Spinach. Nutrition. What? Because I know spinach seems like it should have like a lot of protein. Holy smokes. Yeah, spinach is like 0.9 grams per 100 gram batch. I think it's good for leafy greens. Yeah. Then I'm gonna just go ahead and double check. Okay. Okay, Wikipedia. Where is my nutrition? Actually, according to Wikipedia, pokeweed only has 2.3, so spinach is actually the better deal. Huh. Funny enough, I just remembered that just having a lot more protein to it. Granted, also like it's also a lot like a lot of wild plants where they generally have there's, and that's actually a really great point, is like raw versus cooked, because some people nowadays think, generally speaking, raw is the better way to go, but also, yeah, because 100 grams of raw spinach is like 20 grams cooked. Granted, spinach is one of those things I gotta try growing again. Granted, I should try growing that in winter. Or actually try growing it when in somewhat reasonably cool temperatures or something. Who knows, maybe I might even try it in the garage garden. Which I've got the lettuce planted, and that seems to be doing okay. I think I should hit it with some fertilizer, though, because I think it'll be better then. But yeah. Okay. That's enough yammers about the crops of the South. Let's get back to some wood cutting. Ooh. I really wish I could just move that over a little bit more. I just wish I grew it spring, did well, I couldn't give it away fast enough. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm hitting, so my saw's hitting that. And that's actually knocking me off. I need to find a different way to clamp this. Actually, I know what to do. There we go. Yeah, this year, I gotta say, this year might be my most mediocre year of gardening I've ever done. Like, it's August, and I haven't eaten a single tomato out of my garden. Because with the heat and everything, squirrels just keep stealing my tomatoes. I cannot keep squirrels out of my tomatoes. And because of that, I keep losing my tomatoes before they even ripen up. Granted, I haven't seen them try to get into my peppers though. I've done okay with my peppers so far. The plants haven't gotten like super big, but they also, I guess, seem like they're taking their time. Granted, I also know some like longer term issues perhaps is I've probably have been a little too mulch heavy with my garden, because generally speaking what happens is every year ooh ooh that came really off. Generally speaking, every year weeds do eventually take it over because I get busy during the summer with work and life and such. And I have historically done really heavy mulch regime to basically put the weeds down. And what I'm gonna try to do later this year is I wanna get a weed torch. Woo! Oh, that finished up quickly. But I want to get a weed torch and do some torching, because most of my weed, the primary weed I deal with in my garden is crabgrass, and I cannot say mean enough stuff about crabgrass ever, regardless if it's on stream or off stream. Like, I deeply despise crabgrass. That's actually a very interesting thought. Because I marked it on both sides, I can also tell if I did a reasonably good job on that. And I did. So, yippee. So, switch it around. But yeah, I do want to invest in a weed torch. Because I do carry plenty of propane around here for primarily brewing purposes. But I do want to actually get a torch, and hopefully with that I can stay on top of my crabgrass issue. Because the crabgrass issue is very real. And it is literally the most difficult thing in the world to control. Granted, I've done so much mulching with wood chips that it's fairly easy to pull if I'm willing to like hand pull it, because since my soul's kind of like a really grainy compactation of like wood chips and broken down organic matter. It does pool reasonably easy, but I'm thinking about just burning it. Next year I'm doing black fabric and cutting out holes from what I'm planning. Ooh. That's a strategy. But that's risk. Well, it's not risk, it's just if you do it, you're committed. You're absolutely committed to the black fabric. I like the idea of black fabric. Bleh. Like I've even I threw a tarp over my garden last year just to kind of just like solarize my weeds, and that worked okayishly well. That was reasonably fine. Ooh. Yay, follow the line. But yeah. Whoa. Too much. Ease up. Hey, left that mark. Woo! Yay! Okay. So that's gonna be sides. Should be somewhat mirrored-ish. Reasonable. And I gotta say, I always love the look of cedar. This looks cool, especially with the colors. It's very pretty colors. Okay. Now time to work on the other aspect of this. And that is the grooves, which I really like these build plans. Because I've got to make 1/4-inch grooves on each side. Actually, wait a second. Do I have a 1/4-inch chisel? I don't think so. Oh, I do. I've got my 1/4-inch. I want that. This might be useful. Because, well, actually, wait a second. What do I really wish to do here? What? Oh, for this, actually, this is a bird feeder. Actually, wait, did I call this a birdhouse? No, I called it a bird feeder. But yeah, this is going to be a bird feeder. I actually bought like a 30-pound bag of Kirtland bird feed for this. Actually, speaking of very many thoughts, Actually, I want to grab a little bit more substantial offcut or scrap. There we go. I need a good solid piece of scrap because I need to make grooves from this point. Well, from this point down to here, basically on either side, and those grooves are going to be what the plexiglass is going to set in. And since I have to make 4 grooves, oh, I can't read, apologies. Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, let's see, I've built 3 birdhouses. I've built 3 and installed them. I don't know if I did all 3 on stream though. But I'm thinking for this groove that I'm gonna make, I'm gonna do it at the table saw because I don't want to hand cut that. And then, let's see, how far do I want to be away? Because that's another fun thing with these build plans. They don't tell you where to make that groove. They show you the general location, but they don't give you like a measurement on it. So I'm thinking a 1/4 inch seems reasonable. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use my grip ripper and this piece of cedar 2x4. And I'm going to just fire up the table saw, do a quick test, see what I got, and we'll go from there. So, I'd say for my distance, it's good. As for my depth, let's see here. How much of a depth is that? Oh wow, that's actually almost a 1/4 inch. Perfect. I consider that pretty good. That looks pretty good. So what I'm thinking here, if I just do 2 real short passes, I should be pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab this piece, send it through, and I'm gonna see what we get. Okay. Dust. Go away. Woo. But yeah. Grooves. And what I think I'll do is, I'll do the other one, and then I'll just bump the table saw's fence a little bit out, and then I'll just do another pass. With, of course, checking to make sure everything's good with my scrap block, but that should get me my 1/4 inch groove. And then I also need to think about this is also technically where I should be evaluating whether or not I want these pieces to be outward facing, where you can see marks here where I didn't do it too well. But yeah, I'll have this be like the outside, because you know what, that kind of looks a little bit better. There's no like weird offcuts. So Okay. Actually, this time we're just collecting. So, we now got ourselves some grooves here. We're getting groovy. Now, time for the fun part, where I just slightly move my fence a little bit out. So that way, when I do the next pass, it will just widen that groove a little bit because I need a little bit more room for that plexiglass. Pretty sure I'll need more room for that plexiglass. Well, actually, wait a second. Wait a second. You know what? This is why we have scrap pieces. This is why we have offcuts. That groove is sufficient for the plexiglass I got. So we're good. No more groove cutting. The grooves are done. Woo. Okay, so these are done. Those are 100% done. Nice. Oh man, we're just getting this knocked out. So I have to worry about... Yeah, let's go ahead and start worrying about some of this stuff. So I got myself some dowel here. Got some 3/8 oak dowel that I'm gonna need to cut this down. I need it to be 11.5 inches. So since we've been doing some hand sawing a little bit. Oh. Hitting the mic. Whoops. There's a reasonable mark. Just want to make that a bit better. And then... You know what? Table saw fence. You're very useful. But please go away for a little while. Okay, where's my mark? There's Mark. Okay. Hold that there. That's great. Cool. Good, 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 good. So we'll just go ahead. Woo! One dowel. Cut. Time for dowel tool. Now, whenever I do projects like this, I always like to use my offcut as a reference. So that way, if I'm ever so slightly off on my initial measurement when I cut this out, this way on this one, I keep things reasonably consistent. Is what I try to do. I try to be consistent. Not good at it, but I try. And there we go. And that's the dowel's cut. Leftover dowel rod can go over there. And we're just getting all of our pieces knocked out. With that, I want to go ahead and think about these guys. These guys. So, some of these are going to be for... Let me get to my big view. So some of these are going to go on either side of my... They're going to go on either side of what essentially will be the feeding platform. And then we're going to have two more that are going to be on the outside edges. For some reason, there's a bit of a height difference. You two are more consistent. Okay. So in the interest of aesthetics, what I'm going to do here is... Man, I wish they would give me the full... Let's see here. Actually, I can... Wait, are those parts the same? They were, weren't they? They should have been. Yeah, they're saying they're 10. 10, 10. This is 11.5. So that's going to go... Okay. So I need... Okay. So these don't need to be like through. That's what I shouldn't have to worry about. Shouldn't have to worry too much about going all the way through. Which You will once again serve good due diligence. So it's time to make some holes. And we're going to be making holes in these pieces. These pieces are going to be the pieces that we're going to be inserting our dowel rods into. And once again, these instructions are very unclear with... You gotta love free plans. So, but it shows the holes being very close to the edge. So, I'm gonna go ahead and consider that. And of course we got good splinter. Well, good blowout, because this is what happens when you work with cedar, is the cedar loves to shatter on you. It just does. So, in order to make sure, so that way all my platform's essentially level. Also, I know this isn't fully lined up, but that's because there's a little bit of difference in my piece size selection. But I do, when I fully assemble this, I want it to be as reasonably close to level as I can get it. So that's why I'm going to hold these close, so that way my hole, it goes all the way through, and when I assemble it, it will be level. I don't have to worry about being super extra with marking my holes. And there we go. Good, good, good. There we go. We've got two pieces with holes for dowels. Now the question is, I might have to par that. Might have to put a chamfer on my dowel here with a chisel, just to kind of make it a little bit easier for it to slide into my... Or I could drill it out, but, well, actually if I go up, I have to go up to a 1/2 inch. I think that's a pretty big jump. Going from 3/8 to 1/2 is... Well, it's a whole 1/8. So might give me... I think that'll be too much play. Granted, I could test it. I could drill my little test block and see how I like that fit, but put just a little bit of chamfering on my dowel, and then we're gonna... So it goes in. And this is why I'm glad I bought the oak. Man, that's a fun noise. But that should be reasonable for going in. Because I think what I might actually do is I might lubricate this a little bit. Just because of how tight it seems. Or let's try something. And I just basically took my drill bit in there, wiggled it, just kind of opened it up just a little bit. Oh yeah. I think that's the ticket. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's what we need to do for these pieces. Because that'll make it easier to... That'll make everything easier to, like, come together. Because I need it to be stiff, Don't want it to be too loose, but I also don't want it to be like too tight. And that's what I think I will get, which is what I want. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. My goodness. I'm having lots of fun. Okay. So, I actually think at this point, all the wood pieces are done. I am done with all the stock prep for all the wood. So I'm good there. However, I've still got to do my plexiglass, which the plexiglass is going to be fun. But what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to be emptying off the table saw. And, well, I'm a big consumer of tea. And the thing is, when you're a consumer of tea, the tea has to eventually leave you. So I'm going to throw the BRB screen on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, we got all of our wood pieces prepped. Give me a minute. We lost video. I have to do that. Actually, wait a second. Can I... Is there a way to... No. Oh, man. The joys of working in the shop. Yeah, capture. And there I am. And I like flipping it. I do. There we go. Okay. Okay, I think we're reasonably set back up. Sorry about that. But yeah. Plexiglass. This is going to help me see how much bird seed's in this thing. I've got a 18 by 24 inch piece of this. For today's build, I need two 9 inch by 5 3/4. Wait, do I just need 9 inches? Whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. Oh. This piece A is 10. Oh, wait, does that fit in? Oh, wait, how does this come together? That part sits in there. Okay. Yeah, that will work. Okay. Sorry, I've been very second guessing a lot of things on this, and so I know I gotta cut this, which I would like to cut this at the table saw, simply because, well, it seems like the best place reasonably to cut it. So, let me hook up, reestablish my fence. So for this, what I'm thinking about doing is, since I need 2 9-inch pieces, I'm thinking I'll just do like 5 3/4 off this edge, and then I can cut that in half, and then I will technically have 2 slightly smaller than 9 inches of the plexiglass. That's kind of like the big thought that I'm having right now, is whether or not that's a good idea. Because if I do that, I will lose 1 saw blade's worth of kerf to my piece dimensions, versus doing a 5 3/4 rip off one of these long pieces, and then I can accurately get 9 out, but I also end up with 2 offcuts of plexiglass. And around here, me personally, I'm very much, if I think it's more simple and straightforward of a thing to do, then I do it the simple way. And I think I'm going to go with the simple way today. So, since I want to have 5 3/4 at the offside, and sorry, I am not going to move my camera because this just now was like the second time I have lost the camera during stream. I would like to avoid any more instances of that. Okay. So, I need to... Actually, wait a second. That's set up for... I need to... Actually need to move my fence. Looks like I got it on the wrong spot. Okay. So what's my magic number? Because my magic number is 5 3/4 less than 24 inches, which is 18/4, I believe. Let's see. Oh no, I want the top. Oh, if I go top 18/4. Okay. Ooh. That fence is not the best thing to reference against. Actually. Sorry, but it wants the plexiglass wants to actually like slide underneath the fence, but now my question is my offcut going to be my 5 3/4? I need to bring it in. I need to bring it in. Okay, so let's do. Oh. Let's see. Getting real close. And I just need a little bit more. Where does that put me? Oh. 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 Oh, that's why that's not working. The tape measure was getting locked in my T-track for the table saw. Okay. That's reasonable. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna raise my blade a little bit. Make sure I have my various reasonable guiding tools. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn dust collection on, and I'm gonna turn this on, and I'm gonna get some acrylic cut. Smells like plastic in here. Woo! I'm happy with that. I can live with that. Okay. And let's go ahead and let's remove the magic plastic. Well, actually, we gotta make one more cut. So, what I essentially now have here is a piece I gotta cut in half. Which actually, if I want to be a little bit more conservative with my material, there's a way for me to easily do so. And what that is, get 2 marks. I could try the pool saw. The pool saw cuts a thinner curve. But I don't know how well it's going to cut the acrylic. You know what? Nah. I don't want to ruin my pool saw, my nice pool saw on acrylic. We're going to do something different. Hello, miter fence. Has it really been that? Oh. Wait. Yeah. Okay. Okay. One moment. Woo. I got pieces of acrylic. Better. Okay. Man. So these cold ones are so good. I'm gonna get me one more cold one. And then I've got to notch those pieces of acrylic. And then once I notch the pieces of acrylic, then I can actually start putting this together. Doing some actual fun stuff. Well, it's been fun. But yeah. Cheers! Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now this is going to be real fun because these pieces of acrylic I got to cut a 6.5 inch wide slot on these. And needless to say, this is going to be the second trickiest thing I've done today. So, actually, what am I doing? I have markers. I have better tools. And if you have better tools, it's better to use those tools. So, we're going to want our slot to be 1.5 inches out. So, I'm just going to... well, 1/2 inch out. I'm just going to mark it in a few spots. And then, because I've got 9 inches across, I need 6.5 slot. So I need less than 1.5 at each end. So let's say 1.3/8. 1.3/8. So and that's the marked out area I wish to remove. So this is going to get real fun because I am certainly unsure of how I wish to do. Well, I kind of know what I've got to do. And what I kind of have to do is I have to get my jigsaw out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes at each corner. And then I'm going to use my jigsaw blade to actually connect all my dots, if you will. Assuming this will drill. It drills. Yay! It drills. Drills reasonably well. Oh. Woo! Okay. Reasonably good round hole. Nice, nice, nice. It did do a little bit of shattering of it. So, try to be. And that might be when we... Oh! Oh man, that's exciting. Okay. I accidentally set the drill down on the remote for the dust collection. Let's go find that jigsaw. I've never used this tool. I've never used this ever. Actually, how long is my cord? Where I wish to have power. Is I wish to power there. Okay. Hey! It does things. Okay, okay. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Guess I was putting a little too much force, but my acrylic broke a little bit. So, I think what this means is I need to support the acrylic a little bit more as I'm cutting it. But hey, you know what? I'm new to cutting acrylic. Man, this stuff just... Wait. 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 Whoa. Wait, what? Okay, so... Okay. So, what has happened is it's re-welded. It cut it and then, but it produced so much heat that it actually, wow. But yeah, really jank. Utmost jank. So we're doing great. I hope the people out there enjoy some good jank. Because we definitely got some good jank today. So, I'm going to kind of get a template. Well, kind of use this as a template, sort of. Oh. To have our parts we want to cut out. Oh boy. Okay. One hole. Okay. Yeah, I would really appreciate it, drill, if you wouldn't. just torque on me. So I've got my holes. What I'm thinking for this is I'll try to have as much of it here to help support it, and I also think I'll make a couple of relief cuts with the jigsaw, so that way as I cut, pieces will want to fall off. Don't. Okay, that game plan did not. That did not work out. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the other relief cuts actually turned out really well. Like the edges are really like crisp and clean. They're not as like dull as they were earlier. So who knows? Maybe I'm getting the hang of this. I don't know. So I'm gonna do a few things and. Okay. Did a lot better that time. Yay. Yay! Oh yeah, we did it. Oh my goodness. So Definitely did a lot better on this one. A lot better. We got a slight crack right here. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it there. Ooh. Hi, garden. Being very naturey out there. Good stuff. Okay. Whew. Not gonna lie. That acrylic part was a part I wasn't looking forward to. And I want to free up some room on here, because with the pieces of acrylic cut, regrettably, I think it's time to assemble. But first I'm going to drink some LA, because we got to do some. We're going to do some assembling. I got to think about how I want to bring this together too, because it looks like my sides and then my top will all fall on top. I'm primarily planning to attach everything with 2-inch screws. Get my handy dandy bin of screws out. Man, my bins. Let's see here. Yeah, 2 inches. 2 inches good. Because one of the things about this material is it's got a little bit more meat to it than other material you may get. So, for now, that's going to be like the first part. But I need to take that out, grab you, and I need to find the right drill bit for you. Because the thing is, whoa, ooh, that was exciting. With cedar, the cedar wood is very brittle. It's kind of like the acrylic we just finished playing with. It loves to shatter. And so to manage that, you really want to pre-drill, always. And grab this. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's see. Yep. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. And I'm going to do some pretty rapid switching out, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this first screw in, and then that's going to hold this together while I do the others. Because I'm going to do 3 screws. 3 screws seems sufficient. So, we got 1 screw here. So we'll do 1 in the center. And then 1 towards the far edge. I really like the, so it was funny. I was reading a British woodworking book, And I knew it was a British woodworking book because it called the drill press a pillar drill. And they also like changed the names of like it was English, but it was a different English than what I know as an American. So it was British. And one of the interesting things in said book is this. It calls this wood pencil cedar because this was the actual original wood for pencils for a long time. Also, I just love how almost coincidentally the heartwood almost lines up there, which that's entirely by accident. So let's see, do I just want to do that? We can just do that. We can just do that. Okay. But I do love the fact that stuff smells like pencil shavings. Definitely a very nostalgic smell. Even though this working with this stuff like this covers the shop in pink sawdust. There we go. That is the first screw to hold that piece on, so that's reasonably held together. So we can work on moving forward. Go. There we go. Do. The next one. Woohoo! So, this is going to be basically the platform for the bird feeder. So, that's like the center part. And then we have, I think the next part to add on is going to be this part. Now the question is, do I want to do it? Do I want to do this pre-dowel or after dowel? That is the question. Actually, here I chamfered one of you, not you. You, okay. Okay, I need a hammer. I need a hammer and slightly. Actually, wow, do I barely use my 3/4 chisel that much? 3/4 chisel seems like one I would use a little bit more often. Okay. So, ooh, that might have to go. Actually, wait a second, because that's going to go on that. Oh no, that's actually reasonable. Okay, I'm actually going to go ahead and try to actually get these dowels inserted, because that's what I want to do. I am going to make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to start by chamfering my edges. Damn oak. You're a little rough. You're not rough, you're hard. But I actually chose oak for the dowels because I'm making this out of Eastern Red Cedar. This is gonna last a little while without any treatments or chemicals or any of that stuff. So I wanted something a reasonably lasting wood, and considering the fact dowels come in pine, poplar, and oak, oak seemed like the most reasonable choice. So I went with oak. That end is chamfered. Onward to the second. Turn. And there we go. Ooh, nice. I can get that a little bit closer in there. Yeah. Okay. I want that to be the inside side. And then so that's going to be kind of the platform the birds are going to sit on. Woo! So that dowel is a little too far in. I need to knock it out a bit. And this one I need to knock. Oh. Well, I completely undid that one. Am I going to want to glue this? Nah. So the question, how do I wish to bring, well, actually that's how I wish to bring it together. Let's just take this, and I am going to eyeball it where I eventually want it, but I'm going to also tap that a little bit more in, so it kind of helps. Okay. Sorry, it's a be very finicky and slowly move things point right now. Okay, good, good. Would that be enough to hit that? No, no way. Not gonna worry about it. I was wondering if the drill was actually hitting one of my earlier screws. I don't think that's the case. Okay. But we're gonna zip this in there and see what we get. Actually, how do I want to? That's what I want to do. I need to clamp this because I've actually got a bit of a twist in it. So I've got that going on right there. So I'm looking reasonably good on this side of the world, but not so good on that. So I'm gonna chuck a clamp at this. And I'm gonna use the clamp, hopefully. Narrow up that gap. So that way when I drive the screw in, then we take the clamp out. It's held fast. So, yeah. You know what? It's got imperfections, but it's gonna work. So what we do now is we worry about the other side. And get this side taken care of. Also, another fun fact about this build plan. They don't tell you where to screw. I get to make that part up as I go along. And that's the joy of quote-unquote free woodworking plans. Well, I actually paid $3 for these. Let's see. Reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. There we go. So that's the platform there. So yay. But yeah, that's our platform. So the next part is putting these guys in. And I think the bit, oh my gosh, how do I want to do these? Because what's my internal dimensions? My internal dimensions are 5.5. So 2 3/4 is my halfway mark. So with 2 3/4 as my halfway mark, that's going to be the center where I want these to go. And the bottom is 2 3/4, which is interesting. 2 3/4 divided by half. 1/4 plus 8, 1 3/8 will be my half on these. So I've got 1/3/8 as my halfway point on these. And what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about doing 2 screws from kind of the sides, either side of my line here. Let's see. So all I'm concerned is with my halfway arc lines. There we go. Because it's actually kind of important for these to be reasonably well done. Because, specifically in the case for the side panels, they're actually... Oh, why did that turn brown? Oh, because of bark. That's why. That's because these sides are also going to be like one of the primary supports. Yeah. So I just traced my lines through. So let's go ahead and that to there. Then on that spot, it should line up with a hole. Then we'll zip it in. And we have another piece to the bird feeder. It is coming together. Slowly coming together. But you know what? This has been a fun project. This was a really good Sunday morning project. Because if I did this as like a Thursday evening project, I'd probably be sweating now. Because the build would be eating into my sleep schedule. But it's not eating into my sleep schedule. I should get some woodworking plans to do for stream. I don't know why I haven't. Shucks. I actually bought Woodworking's for Mere Mortals, his like whole shop set of plans. Oh, I went way too aggressive on that, but that's fine. But yeah, I bought all of his plans like last December because he had a Christmas sale on them. Still haven't built anything. I think I kind of looked through them. But if I am going to build something from that set of plans, I'm going to be doing. I think I'm going to do the sanding station because I have a thick sander that I actually got from my grandpa's shop, and I just have not used it yet. Yeah, it's a good resource. Granted, it's kind of expensive, because I think even... Granted, it's a great resource. Comes with a lot of plans, but I forget how much I paid for it. I don't know, actually. Let's see here. Ooh. Okay, well, quick. Well, tried to quickly search my email, but I'm pretty good about also deleting emails, so. Yeah, I don't have the receipts, but I do remember it was like maybe, I don't know if it was like 100, it might have been 100 something or not, I don't know. But one of the nice things that you will get if you do buy his plans, you will get access to the Facebook group, which it's like, in the year of our Lord 2025, how dare Facebook groups actually still be relevant? But I actually do like seeing like the various like projects and things people post on there. Like, it's actually been something I've actually enjoyed looking at on Facebook. So, since these parts are gonna be how this holds up, right now I've just got 2 screws in each. I'm gonna add 1, so we're gonna have 2 screws going into the bottom, and then we're gonna have 1 from here going into this, and then that will make these like super solid. I want to make those super solid because these are also, these are going to be what I probably will hang this from. Also, there's also times where you'll get scared. Like, someone shared a photo of, they built a plane till, like, you know, like the shop wall thing that holds all the hand planes. Yeah, they shared a picture of, they went on vacation and they came back and the plane till fell. Should have been on there Sunday morning banging my head lyrics. What? Okay. But hey, welcome in. What's up, dudes? Finally throwing wood together after much piecing stuff, after much slicing and dicing. There we go. There we go. And but it's also fun. Oh no, that's yeah. But yeah, also people just share like neat ideas and such. So not only do you get like access to plants, you also get access to a community. It's really nice. So now, oh gosh, these are, yeah, this thing's, that thing's solid. That thing is solid. Now, time for the magic moment of truth. Ooh. Oh, that's exciting. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. So on one side, it was too tight. Granted, it might be too tight for this side. What? What do we got going on? What do we have going on here? That should be fine. That should be reasonable. It gets reasonable, and then it's no. Or is it? Feels like it's really hanging up there. Even though I got room on this side, it's like it gets caught on that groove. Interesting. So, can we do it? I don't know if I can do it that way. I would like to do it that way. Uh-oh. Ah, come on. Wow. It just hangs up in that one spot. I don't know if it's a... If I get it past it, it will magically come together, which... But it does fit in the slot. Granted, I think these are also... Oh man. My acrylic's also a little high too, so... One of my issues is that acrylic's a little bit too tall. So I'm gonna have to play slice and dice this down. So, what I wanna do is I'm gonna take my Sharpie, I'm gonna mark right around where I want that to come off. And then I think I'll just take I'll also just take a shaving off the edge. So just go ahead and do something like that. So we'll take off everything above that, and then we'll just basically make that line go away at the table saw. And that will be for this side of the thing. As for this, let's see what we got going on here. Yeah. That's just not good. I wonder, because I know my stock is thicker. It's not like, okay. So I'm gonna have to play trim. And I'm probably also gonna have to trim the height on this too. So, as far as my distance I wanna cut, let's say, I'm actually gonna take it off the side that we won't worry about that. But for this, we'll say roughly that much. So, that's gonna stay there. And then from here, I somehow reasonably attempt to make room on my table saw. There we go. And I need a miter gauge. Okay. So I'm gonna make 3 cuts, 1 to 1. Make 1 cut to one piece, 2 cuts to the other piece, and then we'll try our fits out. I'm probably gonna have to do more cuts on this, but for now, I'm gonna turn on the dust collection and play at the table saw. And that's enough unnecessary noise. Okay. So that's going to be for our far side. Now we get back over here. We're going to drop this in and see what we get. And there we go. And if anything, it might be a little bit loose. But honestly, that's fine. That's fine. Honestly. You know what? That's staying put. Cool. One piece of acrylics in. And I need to actually shave this one a little bit. Well, ideally I shave it. Because I have a burr. Pretty sure I'm going to have to remove to get this to fit. Or maybe not. Okay. Okay. So for piece number 2, we are probably a 1/2 inch too tall. So I'm going to get the handy dandy Sharpie out. And then that's going to be that's my mark right there. Right there in the palm of my hand. So, I now get to do one last cut at the table saw for this acrylic. And I'm very thankful this is going to be my last one. So, pardon the noise. And that's a sufficient amount of the noise. Actually, you know what? I was kind of worried about how clean this was going to be. Like, you know, going in. But it's like, you know what? I'm not too worried about it. Hey, no. Please slide into the gaps. You don't want to stay in the gaps, though. Which is weird, because that's not the sides I removed material from. That's exciting. Okay. So that's certainly a little bit less. Okay. So, since I've got a little bit more play in this one, I think what I'll do is I'll just get a clamp and kind of clamp these two together, push them in a little bit, so that way when I install the roof, which is this piece of lumber, this piece of lumber, it will be pretty good, actually. Yeah. Because it should be, I forget if this is my shorter or long side. Actually, that's more reasonable. And actually, I should probably turn that, because that other edge is going to be a better edge to work against. Okay. So, at the end of the day, we're going to have something like that. Yeah, okay. That looks reasonable. From my perspective. Thing is, there's so many perspectives. Okay. And time for me to let go. Okay. So, first thing I need is going to be an appropriate size of clamp. And then I'm just going to use this just hold these two together a little bit. So that way, yeah. So that way when I put everything together, it doesn't want to fall apart on me. Now, we gotta do the fun part, pre-drilling holes. So, I'm gonna want this to be there plus the height of that. So that's where I'm gonna want all of that. And now I get to play drill through the wood and hope I hit wood. And if I'm lucky, okay. So my hole is right at the edge. I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is at the same plane. Oh, nope, don't drift. Don't drift. Man, you're not drilling great. You're not. What are you? Am I on or not? Because I'm smoking. I'm making smoke. I gotta be on or not. Oh man, that's no fun. Okay. So let's reline everything up. I love eyeballing. Sometimes it works out, and then sometimes it doesn't. So based off that, let's hope that's a better spot to drill. I hope it is. Woo! Okay, you guys probably saw that amount of smoke. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and actually get this roof on here finally. There we go. And I'll get that lined up. There we go. Okay. Now, time to do the magic part of making sure everything is reasonably lined up. Because I want to make sure we get. Because I want to make sure this is high enough up. Because I want these edges flush when I install hinges. And that's kind of like the final. Really gotta be careful and make sure I get that part done right. Which I am also very terrible at getting everything lined up and not preloading my drill bit into my drill. I'm actually terrible at that. Atrociously bad at that. Do not use me as a example. Okay. Hopefully I'll hit wood. Feels like wood. I may have went through. Sure. No? Well, kind of. That's actually reasonable. I actually came out a little bit on the inside side, but I'm okay with that. Okay. Sorry about that. Well, actually. Now I can say sorry about that. Oh. 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 Okay. Oh, oh. Okay. We're looking good now. Man. Been a fair too many tech issues this string. Nothing terrible though. It's like minor inconvenience levels of tech issues. Okay. And then next side. Man, smoking that cedar pencil, man. Granted, too bad it's not incense cedar. Probably smell even better. Okay, there we go. And there we go. And with that, that's all securely mounted. None of that acrylic's going anywhere. We have a nice open spot, which actually I did get a whole bunch of wood dust and such. I want to get that out. Don't want to think I'm cheating the birds out of any reasonable food for them. And so all we got left here is we're gonna do some hinges, and then this is gonna be spot, and then this is basically gonna be the lid that's gonna let me refill this thing, which, holy smokes, I've been streaming for nearly 3 hours. How the day goes by. Okay, I gotta be careful, because that's the thing with these things. These things come with the small screws. They come with very small screws. Well, actually, those aren't small screws. Cool. Hey, hinges. I'd like to open you up so I can install you. Please and thank you. Okay. So that's one set. And another. Now granted, I am going to have to change my drill bit size. I think for now, we'll do... I'm not particularly concerned about aesthetics or anything. I would do want to be a little bit... Actually, no. We're going to do the hinges on this side, because the wood's a little bit better for me to drill into. So, since we're stepping... I can still be... They are still Phillips, but they are They are a thinner shaft than my 2-inch screws. Because... let's see here, because I was using a 532. I'm glad you're streaming. I'm waiting for my family to get off a plane to take them home. Ah! This ride share lot is boring. Oh, no problem. I'm just glad I'm doing this on Sunday and not compromising my sleep. Because if this was like a weekday stream, this would have been sleep compromising. The stream for this long. Also, I essentially have no plans after stream, so I don't mind if stream takes a little too long. Because I think, like, for me personally, like, a good 2.5 hour stream is like, for me, that's the ideal. Because I feel like that's a reasonably good amount of time to stream. 4? Ooh. Ooh. I dropped the screw. I need to... I do not need to be having... I need to change out my bits. I need to find something that'll better receive those. Ooh, yeah, that's a better one. My sleep schedule's mangled. The war in Foxhole is sucking me dry. Ugh. Man, that's why I don't get involved in wars. Even though, says a guy who was he's been really tempted over the past few days to install Rome Total War on his new laptop and play around. Really tempted to thinking about doing a campaign as the Greek city-states. I never really played too many rounds of the Greek city-states. Granted, they're fun in the sense they're one of the more challenging factions to do. But you also get to start off with 2 devs change. Yo, Rome Total War is goated, yes. It's changed a bunch of stuff, so what we're going to be is the longest war game in history with the most nicks dropped so far and more coming. Oh, fun! Fun! But yeah, actually my first series of gaming streams on this channel was actually playing Rome Total War as my favorite faction, the Seleucids. Because I'm a big fan of the Seleucids faction, because I think they have truly the most interesting troop mix in the game. Because you get pretty good you get good cavalry. Foxhole's an MMO, everything, every defense, every bullet. Eve tries to respond is made and delivered by players to other players. Okay. That seems like a big thing. A big thing that I probably won't get into, but I'm sure glad you're having fun with it. And then I did the thing again. I did the thing where I lined things up, but I didn't have my drill ready. I need to stop doing that. I need to get things lined up, so that way I can reasonably hold things, and then I can grab the drill. And then honestly, I'm not going to fully commit to drilling holes, because my drill bit touches the ends of the hinges too much, then dulls the bit. I was a legit wow, I did it when I was younger, love challenges in games. Oh, that was like another fun thing with the Seleucid faction in Rome Total War, is like the Seleucids were the ones who everyone comes to kick your teeth in. And most notably, the Egyptians, which is like the worst faction to fight other than the Roman factions. Like, the Roman factions are kind of like the hardest to fight. Empire Total War is my favorite, but I know it's not popular. I just like the mixing of ages. Ah, okay. I kind of just grew up with Rome Total War, because I actually got into Rome Total War because so it came out around the time when I was in high school, and my high school years I spent being an addict to the History Channel, and as part of that I discovered a show on the History Channel called Decisive Battles, which basically, what they did is they basically recreated ancient battles in Egypt was so mean. My dad's favorite game was Rome Total War. Oh, nice. See, that's the thing. My dad didn't really play video games very much. Like we played Contra together, and we did some stuff on like the PlayStation 1, but he never like got super into games, which is fun. But yeah, Egypt's fun. Egypt's very mean, especially if you actually try to like negotiate with them, which is. It's actually funny when you actually try to negotiate with Egypt because of just how much they just like to. Decisive Battles was cool. It was like Deadliest War, but with more historical weight. Yeah. Yep. Wow. Yay! I did not lose my screw. You remember the first? Do you remember the first time you beat your dad in a game? I don't know. Because I don't really think Because when we played Contra, we did that as a co-op. I never really did, like, competitive games with my dad. As far as... Now, my history with competitive games is primarily lies in board games and stuff counts. Oh, I don't know if I want to say I beat my dad in Monopoly. I actually don't remember the first time I beat my dad in a board game or anything. I know I was reasonably competitive with him. As far as, like, stuff, but... Okay. Let's see. Okay, so those hinges are loose. Let's just get all these in and see what we get. I was more cooperative with my dad as a youngster. But when it came to being versus adults in games, I was able to beat my mom in Tetris. And I distinctly have a childhood memory where I had some friends and I beat them in Tetris. And so when I beat like all my like neighborhood friends in Tetris, they basically then took turns inviting me over to their houses and then challenging their moms and then beating their moms at Tetris, because apparently Tetris is like a big mom game. Every relationship was different. I was talking to some friends and we all had these vivid moments where we first beat our dads in the game. Okay. You know what? These screws are loose, but I do like how it's reasonably stiff. Well, I don't think those screws are going to go any tighter. And that one went a little tighter. Ooh, that's nice. Tetris brackets. Well, it was just funny because, like, it was like the mom was like the best one in the Tetris at the house until I walked into the house. And then I was now the best one in the house at Tetris. But it just, like, to me as a kid, it just seemed funny because it was just like, I was like better than my peers, and then my peers were immediately like, okay, you're challenging our mom now. Because apparently that was like the mom's turn to shine at family game night, was when she was able to beat all the youngsters in Tetris. Man. And then the youngsters got their revenge by summoning me. So. You know what? We've got a DIY done. I gotta get a good view for you guys, man. Look. So we got this, like, got a hole. The food's gonna come out. We got this nice tray area, nice little perch for them. Go to the other side, we have our reload. Reload works pretty well. I'm not so sure about this gap. If if this gap ends up letting in enough water to like start spoiling the birdseed, granted, I feel like depending on how I hang this, it won't be too bad. But if I, actually, let's see, what's the best way? Honestly, I think I might actually just grab my tube of silicone and just put a nice bead of silicone on that. And that'll just kind of fill in that gap, and that'll kind of just keep the water from getting in. Yeah, I'll just use some like silicone. That'll be like, that's like the easy way to do it. But yeah, I want to position this in a reasonable way. But not beat it up. I just made this thing. Ooh, wait. Hey, you. Come over here. Come here, you. It's the hinge I see. You might want to make a cap of 2 boards out of 90. Well, that's kind of... I probably just didn't get like the holes close enough, but honestly, I think I'll just be better off. It'll be just a quicker and easier solution to just put like a quick like bead of silicone, like, wait, let's see. Yeah, just a little bead of silicone right there. It's an easy fix. It's a really easy fix. Actually, there. Stay. It won't be hard. It's just something quick and easy I can do. But yeah, I still also have to figure out how I wish to mount it. Now, that depends on where I'm going to mount this. I'm thinking about, I've got some oxide bolts, and I'm thinking about doing 2 on each side of the big roof piece, because that's got like 4 screws in it. But I also want to consider where the weight distribution goes. Especially if I'm going to, because if I do the oxide bolts, I'm going to have those 2 mounted to 2 sets of wire. And what I'm thinking is I actually have some, do you know where it's going in your yard? Yeah, well, I have an idea. And the idea is I'm currently thinking about mounting it off the bottom of my hop trellis. So what I'll do is I'll have 2 oxide bolts on either side of that, and then I'll have these on the bottom of the 4x4s, and then I'll have like a good length of wire, probably, and by a good length, probably like 2 to 3 feet, just to be a middle finger to squirrels. Is the game plan there? I just want to give squirrels the middle finger because I can't eat tomatoes right now because they keep eating my tomatoes. So, and also if birds knock if the birds knock birdseed out and the squirrels are just getting it off the ground, I don't care. But I don't want squirrels getting on the feeder itself, which I don't think they would be too tempted to get on it because like another thing with the hop trellis is it's kind of in the center of my backyard. So it's far from the fence lines, it's far from shelter for them. So it makes it like if the squirrels wanted to go there, they could do that, but they would be putting themselves in a very vulnerable position to do that. And I have seen raptors and like other large birds around here. So I'm hoping giving them some like kind of keeping this away from them. Also, if I mount it there, I can actually monitor the bird feeder. Well, if I step back from, like if I'm standing right here, I can see where I want it. I'll be able to see it, do some bird watching. I do have some slightly crazy plans for a bird watching stream at some point, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. But if I do that, I'll probably move the feeder closer, so that way I can have it on like the camera better, or I can move the camera, mount the camera somewhere actually out in the yard. But yeah, it's a thing I can do, but I have to be creative with my setup for that. It is how that will have to go. It won't be too bad. But yeah, I've got a finished DIY project, and it's Sunday afternoon now. It is time. It is time to have a cold one. It is time to have a cold one in the best glassware. In the Toho glassware. So, cheers. So we're gonna have brewskis to celebrate these. Got a little too aggressive with that pour. Woo! I am. Woo. But overall, the project came together fairly well, and I didn't completely shatter my acrylic, which was kind of the most worrisome part of this. Was the cutting of the acrylic. Just because that's like new territory for me. But we've got ourselves nice cedar bird feeder, quality oak dowels, and built with a very strong DIY look at the end. So yeah, good day. Really good day. Still can't believe I actually streamed this much today. Oh boy. Oh, man, this is great. Okay. So, well, I am definitely out of talking points. So, I'd like to say thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. And yeah. Oh yeah. And speaking of hops and trellis and just hops, next stream will be Tuesday afternoon, and we're gonna be doing the annual hop harvest here in the shop. And yeah, we're gonna harvest hops. So that's gonna happen at Tuesday, 6:30-ish EDT time zone. So yeah. And also, I would like to go ahead and say, I hope everyone out there has a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And this is Sugi Yamagawa, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.